In episode 504, Ryan and Jose catch up after our hiatus, go over some Hellraiser news, and then get to our main topic, the new Shout Factory 4K release of Lord of Illusions. This is the Clive Barker Podcast, where longtime fans, Ryan and Jose, interview guests, bring you the news, and take deep dives into Barker-related stuff. This episode is sponsored by Don Bertram's Celebrate Imagination. Don Bertram is a longtime friend of Clive and advocate of his art, but Don's unique and inspiring paintings are for sale, and over 50% of the proceeds go to the Arts and Medicine program at the Texas Children's Cancer Center. There's even a paver in Washington, D.C. representing Celebrate Imagination. We're thrilled that this worthy cause is sponsoring our podcast again this year, and we hope that you'll consider looking over his Pinterest page and commissioning a painting of your own. For commissions, Don requires no money down, and there will be no obligation on your part. You can also head over to the Etsy shop to buy one of his books, like A Chimney Sweep's Tale, Celebrate Imagination, or The Imaginaries. Follow the link in the show notes, or click on the side banner, and let's see what's new with Don Bertram today. Don recently shared on his Facebook page Togetherness and Fawns 1 and 2. So check those out. We've got links on the show notes where you can click on them and see them yourself. Let's welcome our other sponsor, Ed Martinez, and his YouTube channel. Lots of great special effects videos and Barker-related content. What's the latest from Ed? You can check out the new short that Ed and Nina made, Hellraiser 2022 short about the new puzzle box configurations. Hey, if you want to help us out, support us on Patreon at patreon.com/BarkerCast589. Our subscribers will get exclusive access to content not available anywhere else, like our Collector's Corner video series, rare Barker videos, and early behind-the-scenes stuff. Our supporters get to help us choose episode topics and even join us on the podcast. Our supporters also get access to the exclusive channel in our Discord server. We'll be forever grateful if you consider helping us out and subscribing to our Patreon. We owe everything to this circle of magicians, so let's give a shout out to our Patreon supporters and see what's new on Patreon. Special thanks to our circle of magicians, our Patreon backers, David Anderson, Eric Vanderholt, Daniel Elvin, Amanda Stewart, Bradley Garth, Matthew Batten, and our returning sponsor, Don Bertram Celebrate Imagination, and our new sponsor, Ed Martinez's YouTube channel. So, what's new coming up on Patreon? Well, we have Drovo versus 40 Cultists, which is a Jericho Squad 77 sort of behind-the-scenes battle that Rob and I ran to kind of see what the outcome was, without the main characters being involved. And then, coming soon, an extended chat with Peter Atkins. So I haven't put that together yet, mainly because I was on vacation, but I plan to get that done very soon. Welcome. It's been a while, but this is our episode 504 of the Clive Barker Podcast. We'll be talking about Lord of Illusions in 4K, I guess. But first of all, it's good to see you again. It's been a while. Jose, how's it going?
Hey, hi, Ryan. I know you just got back from vacation and you had a great time. You got to see one of your favorite bands, two of your favorite bands,
my favorite bands. Yeah. So first I stopped in Anchorage and I got to see Guar, and I did a VIP. This is the shirt from it. And I did the VIP pass so that I could go hang out with them. They did a concert at the beginning that was just sound check, where they're not wearing their costumes. They're just wearing hoodies and stuff. But they played like 4 full songs during that for the 10 of us in the VIP thing.
Oh, it's so cool.
Yeah, that was awesome.
The main concert began. You got a little bit of a preview.
Yeah. We got to go in before everybody else, and they did this sort of private concert for us. Then they came out and just hung out with us and signed things, and we chatted about stuff. And there was one time where I said, "Hey, I'm from Fairbanks," and they're like, "What's that?" And I said, "Well, it's like it's like a 1-hour flight or a 6-hour drive from here." And so later on, when they were actually in the concert, he's like, "Yeah, hello, Fairbanks," and I'm like, "Oops."
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I know you were in the splash zone, right? Because I saw the photos.
I was in the very front. Yeah.
Yeah,
I got completely drenched and with fake blood and stuff, mostly from Elon Musk.
That's what they said.
Yeah, they decapitated Elon Musk, and then pointed his neck stump at the audience, and yeah. It was Elon Musk, Donald Trump, Taylor Swift. I think there was a fourth person, but I can't remember.
Wow. I remember when they were doing that with the Hillary Clinton mannequin.
Yeah, and I've seen George Bush and Barack Obama.
That's hilarious. And
I've been seeing them for 30 years now.
Wow, yeah. You got merch, right? So they signed some merch for you. Did you have the merch when you were being swamped with blood? Did it get any blood on it?
So no, because it was the CD inserts, right? So I had them sign those. And then I was keeping them in my, I had cargo shorts, so I was keeping them in that pocket, but then I moved them to a garbage bag inside of a backpack that a drawstring bag that I bought that's got a Guar logo on it.
Yeah, you knew it was coming, yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I was able, because I had one concert where my whole wallet got soaked, and even my Social Security card was all covered with fake blood, and it got all soggy and stuff.
Oh, darn.
Yeah, that was like 25, 30 years ago, but yeah, so anyway, I got to do that.
Got on stage and yelled, hello, Fairbanks.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So then I caught up with Jennifer and Joel because they went to Hawaii. And so I flew up to Hawaii and I caught up with them. We got to see a live volcano erupting. Mount Kilauea was erupting with lava and stuff. And I got to take videos of that, which is pretty cool. That's kind of a once in a lifetime thing. And we went to a bunch of beaches. I got super sunburned. There was a cool bakery. The Punalu'u Bakery was nearby there. We have friends that have property in a house on a lava field, and they let us stay there.
Did the bakery have pastries and stuff?
Yeah, they had donuts and they had sweet bread and stuff that Joel really loved. He even bought extra. That was the souvenir that he bought, was hot dog buns from this bakery because he loved.
Do they have? I love those things they make with the ube plant, that purple tuber that they make flour out of.
Poi.
Yeah, I guess I call it. It's a purple kind of thing, a purple tuber, ube. And I usually buy some ube cookies in the farmer's market. Oh, they're kind of purplish, reddish looking. And I just love those. They're made by this Pacific Islander vendor at the market. And I always love that stuff.
Oh, and one guy that I was in the VIP thing with me at Guar was from Hawaii. So I flew back with him to Hawaii.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So
and
you guys got to hang out.
And he was messaging me all these, punk concerts that were going on in Hilo and stuff. And I was like, yeah, well, I'm kind of with my family now. I don't think I could just split off and just go watch punk concerts. But it was nice of him to do that anyway. And then from there, I went back to Anchorage and I saw Weird Al and did the whole VIP thing and got in line with him. And I haven't posted the pictures of that yet. But yeah, I had two concerts because Jennifer was going to go with me and then she changed her mind. And there was a 2:00 and a 6:00 concert. So I traded my 2:00 or my extra seat for a 2:00 show. So I got to go to two shows and the VIP thing.
Was it the same lineup of songs?
There were more for the second one because they didn't have to worry about, going overtime and, cutting into the sec. Yeah. So there were more songs on the second one. And on the second one, because I was VIP, I got to go in early and I had already bought all the shirts and stuff. So I went right past the merch line and got up to the bar, right in the front. And so that was an amazing show too. But the VIP part, Guar only had 10 people. Weird Al had 150. Yeah. And so it was a lot less personal. It was here's the little backdrop that you can stand with Weird Al and we'll take your picture. He'll sign one thing, which I missed. They had said he'd sign a poster and one thing. So I went and got one thing and he signed that thing instead of the poster. He still gave me the poster with no autograph on it. So that that was kind of a bummer, but yeah. And then it was kind of okay, thanks. Here's your other VIP stuff that you got, like a blanket and,
oh, wow.
Yeah, and then that was, then they kind of say, now you need to leave, and I don't know. I liked it,
live with a hernia.
Yeah, I liked it, but I'll feel a lot more, I feel a lot closer and more, I guess, loyalty to Gwar, after that was so awesome.
Sure.
It's called the Gwar Meet and Beat.
I guess it's pretty cathartic to go to a Gwar concert.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's amazing. Yeah, and I felt I kind of needed that. I was getting pretty stressed out.
I'm glad you had a good time. I didn't have a really good time the last few weeks. I'm actually in between jobs right now, but no worries. We'll get out of this again. I've also been having a lot of stress at work and stuff. I had to be here because I really love Lord of Illusions, and I did get that 4K Blu-ray, and I had a really fun time watching it yesterday and this morning. If our listeners are listening, I'm sure I'll get out of this soon, but it's not been the best of times for me, but, the show must go on.
Yeah, well, and you've got a good history of finding job, so I'm sure that hopefully you'll get something better, and then that you can put that dumb place behind you.
Yeah, thanks for that. I really appreciate that, Ryan.
Yeah,
it's all good. I did the best I could, and now it's time to find something else. But today we're going to be, like you said, talking about that Blu-ray, but we also got some news, right?
Yeah, and before we get into the news, I wanted to say thank you to William Zenisek. He got me, and I haven't opened them yet, but this is, I think, stickers for like Nightbreed and maybe Hellraiser. And
cool.
he sent these to me, and I'm going to do a little separate video, like a unboxing, even though it's an envelope, it's not a box. But I'll do an unboxing video of these, and that should come out right about the same time as this episode. So we'll have a link to it in the show notes. I don't have it on there yet because I haven't done it yet, but it'll be there.
And that came from ToeEyewear.com?
ToeEyeEar is
ToeEyeEar.
ToeEyeEar.
Okay.
Yeah. And so William Zenisek is his name, and he sent these over, hoping we could talk about them on the podcast. So, I'll be able to show those off. I'm looking forward to sticking them either on my water bottle, or I got a new suitcase because I bought so much stuff in Anchorage. Well, that was the other thing in Anchorage. I bought some Ernest laser discs from somebody on Facebook Marketplace in Anchorage, and I bought, a Godzilla, like a coffee table Godzilla book, and some video games, and a couple of 4K Blu-rays at Barnes & Noble. It's really hard to go physically shop for 4K Blu-rays anymore. A lot of the places, like Fred Meyer, their selection was terrible. Best Buy, which I guess there's still Best Buys in Anchorage, they didn't have any movies at all anymore.
So no movies at all, not even Blu-rays or DVDs?
Right. Yeah, they're just gone. And then Target didn't have any either, which we don't have a Target in Fairbanks. So I thought, I'll go to Target, and there was nothing. No, I guess no offense to Walmart, but I don't want to go to Walmart. And so somebody suggested Barnes and Noble, and I'm like, oh, that used to be the place that I would never go because their movies were always $40.
Yeah. The only thing I ever got from Walmart was better Funko, because that's a Walmart exclusive. But
right,
I don't usually go there either.
Yeah. So I bought a bunch of stuff, and I had to get another suitcase. So I might put my stickers on that new suitcase. I made sure to get one that was smooth so I could put stickers on it.
So you can represent.
Yeah, my old one's starting to fall apart, and so I needed a new one.
Well, hopefully, if it's those vinyl stickers, sometimes you can take them out and re-glue them somewhere else. Yeah. If you throw away that.
I might just rebuy all the stickers that I had on my old one.
I guess. It gets scratched and scuffed, and,
That's true. Well, and they didn't stick very well, and they got kind of wrinkly because that my old suitcase was kind of rough and had ridges and stuff, so they didn't. Yeah. This new one will be better for stickers. I don't know if it's a better suitcase. It might still fall apart as quickly as that one, but
that was cool.
Yeah. So I guess as far as news goes, we found a few things, right? And the first one that I found was this website called The List, had the top 5 body horror books, and guess which one was right at the top of the list?
Oh, body horror, the Hellbound Heart.
That's right. Yeah, the Hellbound Heart was the very top of the list. And then they had Soft Fruit in the Sun by Oliver Zarandi, Earthlings by Sayaka Murata, The Doloriad by Missouri Williams, and Blood Meridian by Cormac McCarthy. That Cormac McCarthy is the only other author that I've heard of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, so top 5. This was I don't know if these are really like ranked, these 5, but Hellbound Heart was right at the top, so that's awesome.
Yeah, even though I appreciate that she did this, even though as far as an article goes, she just gives a couple of sentences or one sentence for each book. So it's a very short article.
Right. And I guess it's because they're called the list, so they must just make a whole bunch of lists.
Yeah, I guess so. She says that Clive Barker's work has informed my understanding of body horror more than anyone, and the Hellbound Heart in particular exemplifies the gorgeous way that gore, pleasure, pain, and divinity are cross-layered in his writing. You know, we walk a fine path between divinity and
heaven and hell.
I had to put in that little Lord of Illusion.
This man is journalist.
Nice accent. Yeah. Is that Jersey? Anyway, so yeah, that's great. I mean, the Hellbound Heart has always been a really good body horror thing because it's just so gory, and that gave birth to Hellraiser as well. So definitely, it's a quick read, and you can still find it anywhere that you look, Barnes and Nobles and stuff like that, or Amazon. Yeah. So I do recommend, if you're a Hellraiser fan and for some godforsaken reason never read the Hellbound Heart, you really should.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and you can even, if you want to listen to the audiobook, it's abridged, but you can listen to a version that has Clive Barker reading it.
That's right.
That's the only audiobook there is, right, that he reads the whole thing.
It's true, yeah.
Yeah.
You found another article, right, on Medium? It's an
article and actually about, Pete Atkins had put this up on his Facebook, and so I wanted to share it. But it's on Medium, and it's called Fright Tomes, the Bloodline of Peter Atkins. And it mainly talks about Pete Atkins and his role with Hellraiser, you know. And so it talks about Hellraiser 2 and 3 and 4, and it talks about the comics that he worked on. So it's pretty kind of exhaustive, nice article, kind of talking about Pete Atkins. And at first, you know, when he posted it, I was wondering if it was an interview, but it seems like it's more like a kind of an educational article.
Yeah, it's by T.J. Trenchell. And he's just talking mostly about Peter Atkins' work and joining the dog company. And he focuses a lot on Bloodline, right? So Bloodline is the thing that he focuses more on this. At the end of the article, they direct people to Pete Atkins' socials and how he's still active there. I think, like I said, I keep saying that Pete Atkins is an integral part of Hellraiser as much as Clive Barker. And he really determined a lot of the stuff that people love about Hellraiser comes from Peter Atkins as much as it comes from Clive Barker. So,
well, and like the whole idea of the Labyrinth and Leviathan, right? That was Clive Barker and Pete Atkins and Tony Randall, I think, together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a little paragraph here at the end of the article where he says, never truly the face of the franchise, but perhaps its greatest champion, Atkins fills a role that reflects the blasphemous nature of the work he's been involved in. Yes, he wrote Pinhead's taunting words to God in a cathedral. I am the way. Yet if we look at the Barker-Bradley-Atkins trio as its own unholy trinity, Atkins is the Holy Spirit. And it's like, I love that. That's so good. The Holy Spirit of the Hellraiser lore. I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree too. Yeah, and it's nice to see him getting some credit because, like they said, he's not the face of Hellraiser. He's also been a good friend of ours, so we're happy to see anything that celebrates Pete Atkins. We're happy to see that too. And we've had him on several times, and we would love to just keep having Pete Atkins come on that podcast. And speaking of Hellraiser 2, Gary Smart has created busts of Dr. Channard, and I put a link in the show notes where you can see like various Hellraiser alums holding up their Channard busts, and Pete Atkins is one of them, and Jeff Portas has another one.
That's right. The guy who created the makeup.
Yeah, so pretty neat.
Yeah, it's Hellboundbusts. So that's his website. He makes this Dr. Channard bust where you can see not just the face, the top of the head with the big tentacle pod attached to the top of his head, and the great paint job that Gary did. And also you get to see pretty much the bust with the shoulders and half of the chest. And he sells these on Hellboundbusts on Etsy. So
the
doctor is in.
Okay.
It's time to get the doctor.
Oh, yeah. He's got a Pinhead, and he's got some other horror characters like Pennywise the Clown, and it's pretty cool. And Freddy Krueger.
Good job.
Yeah.
He does a really good job sculpting these. I know he started sculpting stuff during the pandemic.
Yeah.
A lot of us developed anxiety and depression. Gary went to work and started making wall hangers with different Hellraiser characters and other characters from other movies that he likes.
And if you like, I recognize that name, Gary Smart. We've talked to him before. He did the Dark Ditties movies, right? And the Leviathan documentary. So, and the Dark Ditties movies have cast from Hellbound in them.
Yeah. So I'm looking at his Etsy page, and it was great that he sent these to like Pete Atkins and Jeff Portis and maybe even other people, but he still has some of those wall hangers that he made. Like there's still one Dr. Channard wall hanger made out of silicone with a full paint job.
Oh, yeah.
That one's like $350 something. And as for the Dr. Channard, like full bust, he's selling that right now for about $1,128.
Wow.
And there's a 1-to-1.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, those are huge. Yeah, this particular newer bust is a little smaller, so it can fit on a shelf better. The smaller one, the mini resin museum quality bust, that's 11 inches, not 1-to-1 scale. It's just 11 inches tall. That one's about $280 on Etsy. Yeah, so and that's the new one, right?
That's right. Yes, that's the one you see the pictures with Jeff and Pete holding that up, which is really beautiful. Right. A lot of detail in that.
Yeah, there's Reagan from The Exorcist in here, and Clarence Boddicker, from RoboCop. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, they did that RoboDoc, didn't they?
Yes, right. Yeah,
Christopher Griffiths. Yeah.
Yeah,
and Pennywise.
And they did a documentary about Nightmare on Elm Street, and it originally was called Icon. But I can't remember now what they changed the name to. And
he also has a Robert Englund wall hanger that you can get with half of the face is like regular Robert Englund, civilian Robert Englund, I would say, and the other half of the face is like Freddy Krueger. So it's really cool. I saw it on like a video, as I was scrolling through Facebook videos. I saw a little clip from this, and then also someone shared it to us. Joe Skeen,
shared it to us on his Facebook page as well. This is a podcast interview with Doug Bradley from a podcast called Your Mom's House. And one funny thing is she was talking about like, what accent does Pinhead have? And so then they kind of started joking about like, here's what Pinhead would sound like if he had a Scouse accent. And so you can hear Doug Bradley, and I'll put a little clip in it in this podcast so people can hear it.
What accent does Pinhead have?
What has that to do with you?
I don't think you're doing like a Liverpool accent, right? Like
Scouse Pinhead. I'll tear your fucking soul apart, lad. I tell you now. Your suffering, it'll be fucking legendary, even in hell.
It's a totally different movie.
I didn't know Your Mom's House podcast. But,
I didn't either.
Yeah, I noticed this a couple of days ago, started popping up on my reels. And I was like, oh, look, Doug Bradley is on a podcast. And I looked it up. And it's like episode 824. He joins the hosts Christina P. and Tom Segura. I don't think Tom Segura is in this one. I'm not sure because I haven't watched the whole thing yet.
Yeah, it seemed like it was just her.
She said, we have a co-host today, and it's going to be Doug Bradley. And
so I'd be interested I haven't watched the whole thing. I've only seen these little clips. I'd be interested to hear the whole thing just to see what else they talk about. Yeah,
it's like an hour and a half. That seems to be like a regular long format for podcasts nowadays.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Put it in my podcast player. He
does a great section where he's imitating accents from England, and he's saying lines as Pinhead using those accents, like like the Scouser one. Yeah, your suffering will be legendary, even in hell. It's like, it's just hilarious. That was just a terrible imitation that I did there, but you got to watch this because he goes.
That was braver than me. I wasn't going to try to do it.
Yeah, but he goes into like regional dialects and he kind of explains what certain expressions mean, idiomatic expressions and stuff like that. And there's a lot of banter. It's a very lighthearted podcast, and I like it. I thought it was really funny. At least the highlights that I saw.
Yeah. So we've got, you put another one in here, right? This is, regarding the Hellraiser revival video game. There was a little bit of news. That's
right. It wasn't really recent news. This actually came out about a month ago. Around the time when the Hellraiser revival was being announced. And, it turns out that I saw that, there was a voice actor who plays the protagonist in the game, Aidan. That's going to be who we are in the game, the guy who's trying to save his sister or whatever. And he said, he made a post on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, saying, hey, there's no chill way to say this, but I'm Aidan. I'm the voice of the main character in Hellraiser Revival. Yeah. So I added that so you guys can check him out and follow him on X or wherever he is.
His name is Xalavier Nelson?
Xalavier Nelson Jr., that's right.
It's not Xavier?
No, it's Xalavier.
Okay, I haven't seen that name before.
Borderlands 4, Hypnospace Outlaw, MTG. I'm not sure what this MTG stands for.
Magic the Gathering.
He was nominated for a BAFTA award. So yeah, he's been around. He's a cool voice actor, and he's going to be in the main protagonist of Revival. So that's another bit of information there.
I can't wait for that game to come. I'm excited. We can.
Me too.
That'll give us something to kind of work through and go through on the podcast when it comes out.
It looks like it's going to be a survival horror game, and I know that you pre-ordered it. A lot of people have been telling me they pre-ordered it. I have a thing about pre-ordering games before I see what they're going to be like, so I haven't pre-ordered it yet. But I'm probably going to, just because of the podcast, because we want.
It's got Clive Barker's name across the top of it.
I know. So I probably.
So even if it's bad, I'm going to finish it.
Yeah. If I can, I never finished.
I don't think it's going to be bad though. It does. It looks just from this little bit that we've seen, it looks really good.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying. I just meant that as a general rule for myself. I don't usually pre-order games, because I've been burned many times pre-ordering games, and then they come out and it's like, I put 20 hours in this and I'm not going to play it anymore.
What I hate is if I pre-order something and then everyone else gets it before me.
Yeah.
Especially for the purpose of this podcast. I'm like, why is this happening? I wanted to be able to review this thing, and now everybody else is talking about it and I haven't even gotten it yet.
I was just getting this idea because we do have our podcast. We could probably contact them and ask them if they could send us some review codes and maybe see if that works, because that would give us a little advantage, because we are the Clive Barker Podcast, the Barker Cast. It would be nice to be able to put something out because we're both gamers, you and I.
Yeah.
I've just discovered, this is going to sound very crazy for people who are like Prime members, and they're like, yeah, you didn't know about that, but I found out that I have access to Luna, which is a gaming platform on Prime Video.
Oh, yeah. Prime. The Luna client?
And, the Luna, I don't know. It's a way to play games. You don't have to install them in your computer. You can just
it's like
stream them.
Streaming, yeah.
And I thought that's probably going to be really delayed and crappy, but then I started playing on Luna last week. I noticed they have Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas for free for Prime people. And I was like, I'm going to give that a try because I played those games before. And I had this controller, a Bluetooth controller. Yeah. And I discovered I could connect a little, what do you call it? Little USB thing, dongle that you can put on your phone that will make the connection between a Bluetooth controller and the game on your TV, on your Fire Stick. And so I can play sitting in my bedroom with a controller. I can be playing on my 4K TV through, which is a Fire TV. So I've been playing a little bit of Fallout 4. No, not Fallout 4, Fallout New Vegas.
Joel plays Minecraft using the Luna client.
Oh yeah, it's there
and
too.
I think there's some reason why he does that, like some specific mods and things that he likes that you can get that way. Oh, he also plays Minecraft in VR, which I tried that out and it was freaky. I spawned in this little tiny pit, right? And I'm like, okay, how do I hop out of this pit? And I jumped out and there's this creeper right in my face and he blew up and I died. And like, this is too much. This is too intense. I can't handle it. I'm out of here.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
It's so different when it's in VR. Oh, and when I was in Anchorage, I went to a Dave & Buster's, and I've never been to a Dave & Buster's before. And they had Godzilla, Kaiju Wars VR. And you sit in like a helicopter cockpit, like with gunner, and you're flying like, around, and all these things are coming at you, and sometimes you point straight down, which makes you feel like you're going to get dumped out of your seat.
Yeah.
But it was that was amazing. And I looked it up. I was like, oh man, is this on modern VR? I'll consider getting a VR thing if I can play this, but it's only in arcades.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, maybe one day someone will be able to emulate that on a computer.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of arcade stuff that you can emulate nowadays.
It wouldn't have the motion stuff, but it would still be pretty cool.
That's right. Boomer Joe is going to start talking. I never really used any of the major like VR headsets.
Yeah.
So I don't have a lot of experience with VR. But it does seem very seductive and attractive, the idea of putting like the headgear on and being inside like a whole different world. That
I think if you were a boomer, you'd be like 70.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I'm saying that in a more metaphorical sense, of course. But I would love to try. I know someone modded Jericho to be in VR.
Oh.
And I think there's a mod for Jericho in VR. Wait, no,
that would be.
It's not Jericho. It's Undying.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense. Jericho would be like pretty frenetic because you're always getting killed and transporting over to the next person over.
Right. No, it's Undying. Sorry, I misspoke that. Okay. But there's a mod for VR and Undying, and I imagine that would be interesting.
Yeah, Joel has a MetaQuest, and I've only used it like maybe twice. One time to play this Gorilla Tag that he really likes, and then another time to watch a trailer on YouTube, because that is seeing a trailer in like our movies or whatever on VR is amazing. It's like you're sitting in the world's biggest movie screen, right?
Oh, so it's like it puts that in front of you as like a big movie screen?
Yeah.
In the dark? That's great.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, VR is pretty neat, but I have been thinking at some point when the Apple one becomes a little more of a commodity that people can afford, I might get one of those. But it might take one or two more iterations before it becomes affordable.
Yeah.
I tested one at an Apple store and it was amazing. It looks so good, but there's no way I'm going to pay $3,500 for that. And it's not worth 10 times as much as the MetaQuest. That's $350.
I think I'd be more interested in things like augmented reality stuff, like that you could put glasses on. And I'm not talking about having cameras on your glasses, but I'm just talking about having a way to put glasses on and have some rear projection thing show you details about what you're looking at. Yeah. Or, let's say you open up something and you see a circuit. I mean, I hope in the future they will have things that it's like the AI will tell you, okay, this is a circuit board, blah, blah, blah. If you want to take that condenser out, you can take it out and solder this new piece in. And
like nowadays, you look at something like that and you go, okay, where's a YouTube video that explains what I'm supposed to do here? And then there you open it up and there's an ad, and then there's like, hey guys, thanks for subscribing to my. And you're like, fast forward, dude. I don't want to hear you talking about your.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in augmented reality than virtual reality, but that's just me. That's just personal taste.
Yeah. Well, I think, they're two separate things, right? I mean, virtual reality is really just more about immersion and video games and ride. AR is more useful. Yeah. Anyway, we kind of went off on a tangent. We should go on to our main topic, right? Because Lord of Illusions came out from Shout Factory in 4K. Here we are at Lord of Illusions 4K 2025 release by Shout Factory. I've accidentally got 2 copies of it.
Wow.
Yeah. I got one for myself, and Jennifer bought me one as a pre-order for my birthday, and then it came out way after my birthday, so she forgot that she bought it for me, and then it just kind of showed up in the mail, and she forgot, she didn't tell me, and I ordered one, and so now I have 2. So we'll probably have some kind of way to give this away to people. There were a couple of things. I guess, first of all, first impression, right? First impression of Lord of Illusions in 4K. The very first thing that jumped out at me, and I don't know, I wanted to see if this was for you too, but the MGM logo with the lion, I saw that in 4K and I'm like, whoa, look at that. I mean,
yes,
it really jumped out, right? In 4K.
It does. It's great. It's like the new logo with the lion and stuff, but it's a beautiful transfer.
Yeah.
Definitely. I had a really good time noticing things in the background that I guess I didn't notice before, because I did watch it in my 75-inch 4K TV.
Me too.
And I never watched it on a 75-inch screen like that, 4K screen. So it was an amazing experience. You know, I turned off the lights. It was like being at the movie theater, right?
Yeah, same here. Yep. I did that same thing. I turned off the lights. I sat, you know, I have a little beanbag chair kind of up close to the big TV. So it feels, and I have a surround sound system. I've run wires under the little rug. So I have rear surround speakers behind me. And so I've got a pretty good theatrical experience, and even though it's just for one person. I missed watching Lord of Illusions. When it first came out, I used to watch it constantly, like almost every day. And it's been a long time, and I'm like, wow, yeah. You know, and I know we've talked about it a couple of times. More recently, we talked about it when this, you know, Blu-ray from Shout Factory came out. We went through this again previously, right? And
right.
I guess,
and the soundtrack as well, the double CD.
Right. Yes. Yeah. And so my only disappointment about this release versus the Blu-ray is that there are fewer features on it, right? And it doesn't have this one. They both say collector's edition, but the Blu-ray had, I think, 2 discs, and it has the theatrical release on it, which I don't ever watch the theatrical version, but there's something about it that it feels like, well, why'd you leave it off?
Right.
Yeah.
There's a note from Clive Barker on this Blu-ray, which I guess is a note from 1995.
Right. That note's been on every release.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I guess this was ultimately just for the director's cut to have its own 4K release. So 4K scan from the original camera negative. Yeah. And they preserve the 1.85 to 1 aspect ratio. And this also supports, this new Blu-ray supports HDR10 and Dolby Vision.
Yeah.
And I do have a TV that does HDR, so it makes everything look a little clearer. There's nothing that's going to be like too highlighted or whatever. Everything looks kind of like really clear.
Yeah. I started looking at things that, like books that people were reading, looking at the titles of them, and, you know, all the stuff in the Magic Castle you could really see clearly, you know, in the repository.
I love the hologram of the monster.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So that part, you know, I was disappointed that we were missing the theatrical, and also, you know, there's one feature that my Laserdisc has that no other release has. And that's the there's one specific trailer that you can only see on the Laserdisc version. And
I'm sure.
I ripped that onto the computer and I put it on our YouTube channel a long time ago because David Anderson asked me to years back. So if you ever want to see that, I'll put a link in the show notes so people can see that too.
Yeah. The audio quality is really good. It's got that DTS HD Master Audio 5.1. And so it was really amazing to hear the music, Simon Boswell's score. Yeah. Which in other releases, we used to have the isolated score version, which you could watch the movie just with the score.
Yeah,
I don't think it's in this
like
one,
that,
right?
That came and went with the DVD, right? Just with this one.
Yeah, that cool little thing. Because watching this movie with just the score, some scenes you can, without the screaming or the noise or the shots or whatever is happening, you just listen to the scene with nothing but the music going by, and it's a really interesting experience in some of the scenes.
And there was a reference to the isolated score, right? If you're watching this new release, there was one new feature called Flesh is a Trap, and it's a kind of an interview with Simon Boswell. And he's talking about the score. He talks about how he got started in music and doing this for Clive Barker and why he got chosen. But while he's talking, they're in the background, you see the isolated score version of the movie behind him. So we don't actually get the isolated score, but we get sort of references to it in this new featurette with Simon Boswell, which was pretty good. I liked it.
It looks like it was an interview made through the internet because it looks like he's sitting at a desk with a webcam filming him.
Yeah, so like through Zoom or something like what we're doing right now. Yeah.
So the sound was okay. I mean, sometimes it could be a little better. But when it comes to that wonderful featurette, it mentions that, of course, he had, he had just finished, it was 94, and he had just finished doing the music soundtrack for Danny Boyle's movie Shallow Grave. And then he knew Joanne Cellar, who was the producer of Lord of Illusions. And that's how they got in touch. And then Clive Barker called him. He explained what he wanted. And, then Simon goes through a lot of the scenes and major themes and topics of the soundtrack and explains, his intentions behind it. And it's a really fun listen. It's like about 20 minutes of a featurette, but it's pretty good. I always love it when they interview the composers and put their experience in there as well.
One of the big things that he talked about, which I thought was pretty cool, was like, Clive knew that I could do a horror soundtrack. I've got a good history of that. But what he really wanted was a good noir theme. And so they played this demo version of the saxophone Harry D'Amour theme when he's like in his office talking to the
Valentin?
Loomis, when he's talking to Loomis in New York.
Oh yeah. One of the funny things about that scene, right? It's like they show us New York at one point in the movie. And I might have mentioned this before, but in this movie, I was much clearer, and I was like, oh, that's jarring. They show New York, they show an apartment building, and it's raining, and it's like a thundery day. Yeah. And then they cut to inside the set, and it's like a bright, sunny day, and water just dribbling down the panes all the time that they're doing that scene. And I'm like, oh, no, I can tell that's just like a garden hose that they have up there. Just kind of the water is just really dribbling down the panes. And I'm like, and it's super bright outside, like it's a sunny day. And I was like, oh, they should have darkened that a little bit, but that's fine.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah. Flesh is a Trap, scoring Lord of Illusions. That's a new thing. They also had a featurette with Martin Mercer, who was in our podcast.
Yeah, and actually that was one thing I wanted to bring up is that he brought up like, hey, that was the very first movie in America that I ever did storyboards for. Yeah, that's right. And so that made me think. He commented that on our listeners group on Facebook, and that made me think. I wonder, is Martin Mercer the only other person that's ever been involved with all three Clive Barker directed films?
Yeah. Apart from Clive himself, I guess so.
Yeah, exactly.
KNB and Steve Johnson also worked on the special effects. I don't know that they had worked on they didn't work on Nightbreed. So yeah, you're right. I think Martin Mercer might have been one of the few people that worked with Clive on all three movies. That's pretty amazing.
Maybe the only person.
He worked also in Hellraiser. He did, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay. Wow, that's pretty cool. The storyboards. He goes through some of the major storyboard sequences, like the Pantages Swan Theater show, like how he made it so it would be, he took pictures of the places where the sets were going to be like, and then he used some of those pictures to like draw stuff. Like the Origami Man sequence is shown in the storyboards. And the Swan's last act is also shown in the storyboards and stuff like that.
Yeah, which is like heavily special effects stuff that people weren't necessarily understand. The actors weren't seeing at the time that they were filming it. And that particular featurette was also in this one, in the Blu-ray. So that wasn't a new feed. I think the Flesh is a Trap is the only one that's new from the old Shout Factory release.
And then there's also the deleted scenes, the photo gallery set to score, a note from Clive Barker, the trailer, and the A Gathering of Magic, which I think is a really old behind-the-scenes featurette. That's probably
I think that was even on the Laserdisc.
Probably even on the VHS tape. I got to check that.
Yeah, and they
VHS
still are
tape.
using the same Clive Barker commentary from the Laserdisc, right, where he's calling it a laser. This laser. Yeah.
Yep. So, if you're looking for the director's cut, this is the superior choice because it's the 4K scanned from the original negative. I love it. It's got HDR range. It's got enhanced color fidelity, and it's got all those extras. It's really compelling for collectors of boutique editions like these 4K Blu-rays.
Well, that got me thinking about, do I really need to keep every single version of Lord of Illusions that I have? But this one has the theatrical cut, and as far as I know, this is the only thing I have that's got the theatrical cut on it. This one's in 4K, and it has this new Flesh is a Trap featurette on it. So those are both good things, right? This one, the DVD has the isolated score, and I am never getting rid of my Laserdisc. So
no.
I guess I'm
got that
keeping
one
all
too.
of them. Yeah.
Mine's not autographed, but I guess ultimately, do I recommend it? Yes. If you want the best possible visual fidelity, using the director's cut in native 4K, that's one of the things. If you appreciate immersive audio with the DTS HD mix.
Yeah.
And also if you're a completist, this will have pretty much all the interesting stuff that the extras have in all the other editions, plus that new one. If you like the theatrical cut, maybe you pass on this one because the theatrical cut's not on this one.
So there's one other release that we didn't talk about because you and I kind of skipped it, right? We didn't buy it, but there's that Australian release that was also a Blu-ray. It wasn't in 4K, but it had a book with it, and I think it had both theatrical and director's cut. And it was a pretty comprehensive version, and I remember David Anderson was super happy with it. He bought it, and he kind of showed it off on Facebook. I don't have that one because I was like, I want my next one to be in 4K. So I was holding out for that.
Yeah, we're talking about the Umbrella Entertainment one, right?
Yes, Umbrella. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. So I guess I
don't have it either, but it looked like a really good package because it had all these little extras, and I'm a sucker for extras. Yeah. Postcards and things, right? You had the 2 Blu-rays, plus a book, plus a rigid case, plus a slipcase, plus a poster and art cards, and the new cover, right? So with Nyx and the tarot cards. You know.
If they had just done it in 4K, I would have bought that one.
Yeah, it's already out of stock, though, unfortunately. It got out of stock really fast.
Yeah, it was a pretty limited release. Yeah. And also, so I'd be curious for those out there that have that one, what are the things that you like about that edition, and what's your favorite release? So I asked that question on Reddit and on our Discord.
Oh, one quick thing I had to say. I know this is probably something that I should have said on the Reef news section, but when I was looking for Doug's new podcast that he shows up, the Your Mom's House podcast, I found out that there's another guy that has a podcast, and his name is Douglas Bradley. And so there's a Douglas Bradley's podcast. This podcast explores the riches and depth of God's word through the sermons of Reverend Douglas Bradley. It's not Doug Bradley, obviously, but I just thought it was hilarious. This poor bastard is some religious, sermon priest guy, and he has a podcast under the Douglas Bradley podcast. So, man, I wonder how many people leave comments on him like, "This isn't Doug Bradley, Pinhead."
Yeah. So on Reddit, we had Fear730 said, I've got the Scream Factory Blu-ray. It slaps. The Laserdisc was really good for the time. And I said, hey, they're still using the commentary from the Laserdisc release 30 years later. And he said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's always nice when the new releases keep the old special features. I agree. Yeah, they should be building on what's in the past instead of getting all new 2025 interviews and stuff. Do both. I totally agree with you. And then Famous Mortimer 23 says Teenage Me was all about this movie, and not just because Famke Janssen can get it. I don't understand every slang that there is. Pilgrim Poldo said, I have a Blu-ray of it, but didn't know it existed in 4K. One of my fave movies. I need to get my hands on it one day. Ironhide36 says, I got the OG DVD. Does the 4K come with any extra stuff behind the scenes of the director's cut? I guess, first of all, I would say the DVD is not OG. VHS and Laserdisc were OG.
Mm-hmm.
And any extra stuff behind the scenes, yes. I mean, that's all. And the director's cut, yes. It's got mostly the same features that were in the Blu-ray that came from Shout Factory. And there's a lot of good stuff on there.
Yeah.
Yarg, YHARG said, can't wait for the next episode of the podcast. Always great to listen to on my lunch break. I bought both the Blu-ray and 4K. The commentary by Clive Barker from the old Laserdisc was excellent. Yeah,
it is.
I agree. And thank you. Sometimes we feel like we're yelling into the void, or it's just a fun chat between the two of us. Sometimes it feels like that, and I forget that people are actually listening.
It's kind of our social life most of the time. This and Messenger. Yeah.
And then I guess the one other place. So nobody replied on Discord, but one other place we've got is the listener group. Just Martin Mercer on there. He said, first storyboard gig in the USA with fellow artist Mark Baird. 6 glorious months working in Clive's studio.
Yeah. I bet that was really amazing.
Yeah, and that was cool to see, Martin Mercer. I love that he's in our listeners group, first of all. And he has a podcast, too, if you guys want to listen, called The Wrong Side of Hollywood. So you guys should check that out. If we've talked about it before. Yeah, and it was nice to see him commenting on there. And I told him, hey, they put your storyboard featurette in this release, just like on the Blu-ray. And he thumbs up that. So, yay, Martin Mercer. And I guess that's kind of the end for our, answers to that. But if you missed out on those questions, tell us, what is your favorite release of Lord of Illusions?
Yeah, comment on us and go to our listeners group.
Yeah. The one thing that I'll say about it that I remember from the time that it first came out, because I was eagerly waiting for a release after seeing it in the movie 4 or 5 times, in the theater 4 or 5 times, the one thing I recognized right away is that the theatrical cut pretty much disappeared. Every release just about was only the director's cut, and that was the way Clive wanted it, because that was the compromise that he made. I'm like, yeah, I'll make these cuts in the theater, but you have to give me my director's cut, and that's going to be the official release. And so you start forgetting, after 30 years, it's been exactly 30 years, right? 1995. Right. After 30 years, you start kind of forgetting what things were added back in for the director's cut, because that's the version that we get used to now.
Is it like 11 minutes?
Yeah.
I still remember.
It's like Butterfield getting shocked by the, because he stabs the thing into the wall, and there's extra of the blood spurting out of his cheek, and
bubbly smoke coming out of his burn, and
there's
a big exposition part in the car between Harry D'Amour and
the I can do a lot of shit, D'Amour, but that whole conversation wasn't in the theatrical cut.
Yeah,
there's more, but I don't remember what the other things. Oh, the kids, right? The cultists killing their having killed their families and opening their letters saying that the Puritan is coming home. That stuff wasn't in the director's cut, with all the dead kids on the floor and the dead wife in the closet of the postman and stuff.
That seems weird, because I think that's really important for to understand what's going on with the return of the Puritan. I don't understand.
I think that was an MPAA. That was them. They didn't want the dead kids in the movie.
Okay.
And Clive said on the from what I remember on the audio commentary, Clive had said he deliberately put that in there knowing that they would cut it out. And so then he was giving them bait so that he could keep other stuff that was important to him.
Sure. There's another section. There's another few cuts that happened, which is like when they're taking out Nix's mask, when Butterfield is taking out the mask, and the screws are, coming off and blood drips down. Sometimes they cut little shots like that in the theatrical. Okay. And then when Valentin goes to Harry D'Amour's hotel room to offer him the job of like $5,000 a day, is like, does that include? He's
like, it's 1:00 in the afternoon.
Right.
What are you, my mother?
Yeah. So I think that part's also not in the thing. And a few other cuts are like when D'Amour has the dream about the angel with the butchered knife wings.
Oh, yes, right. That was a big deal. I remember I spent a lot of time trying to freeze frame that angel which is Rob Humphreys, right? He's playing that angel with the blades coming. Clive's assistant at the time, or vice president of Seraphim.
Yep. And of course, parts from the Dorothea and D'Amour's sex scene are also excised for that. The director's cut is obviously clearly the most important version that you could see. The other one is just a smaller version, but it's the same stuff. So the more you have, I think the cuts that they did would actually give a little more impact to certain scenes.
Rob Reidenauer, when the Blu-ray first came out, right, the Shout Factory one, he said that he preferred the director's cut, and he was going to write a review like that. And we were like, really? And then he kind of second-guessed himself and changed his mind. But I think that's a totally valid opinion. If somebody likes he liked the theatrical cut better. If somebody likes the theatrical cut better, that's totally fine. You know, I don't mind. Sure. I kind of felt bad. I didn't want to discourage him from, he did a lot of writing for our blog, and I didn't want to discourage him from that.
Well, you know, that's obviously kind of a personal opinion that everyone can have.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I didn't agree with it. I mean, I like the director's cut better, but
sure. Yeah. Me too.
Yeah.
But the theatrical cut is what drove a lot of people into watching the movie, and it's loved by many people as well. So I'm just happy that we got an option to see both.
Hopefully everybody has a copy that they can watch, right? And if they have the copy, it's mostly going to be the director's cut. But yeah, I totally recommend watching this in 4K. It felt like I was back in the theater again.
There's Lord of Illusions is now pretty much available in other streaming platforms too. I mean, I think you can watch it on like Pluto TV with ads and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's going to be 1080p, but I think you watch I'm not sure if you watch the theatrical on Pluto TV or if you watch the director's cut. I think it's the director's cut.
Probably.
They got the cover. I think the cover that shows up is the Shout Factory cover for the movie, so it's probably the director's cut.
It amazes me how much sometimes that theatrical cut will slip in on streaming sites, you know, and like Nightbreed. So you know, all you know is it says Nightbreed, and then you watch it to figure out whether it's going to be the director's cut or the 1990, theatrical version.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Yeah, that's why physical media is better. That's my opinion.
Of course.
Yeah,
of course. Even though the first time I saw Lord of Illusions in HD was through the MGM HD channel. That's the first time I saw it in HD. That's right.
Does that even exist anymore?
I don't think so. No.
Because at the end of Lord of Illusions, it said MGM, an Amazon company. I'm like, oh crap.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh.
Yep.
It's just
I think MGM
a sad reminder of the state of the world of the entertainment industry right now.
Oh yeah, and just before we started, weren't you saying something about how Hulu is going to become something inside of Disney Plus now?
Yeah, Hulu's not going to exist on its own anymore. I think that Disney Plus is going to just absorb it.
That's weird. That's really weird.
Yeah, well, there are too many streaming channels.
Disney Plus. Yeah.
I wonder if it's all going to come down to two, because you don't want to have a monopoly. So we may just end up having only two streaming channels at some point.
Consolidation is real.
Yeah.
All right. So what's coming up next?
Like I mentioned previously, I'll put out a video unboxing my stickers from ToeEyeEar, and with Nightbreed and Hellraiser stickers. We're gonna, at some point, I'd like to talk about Clive Barker related trading cards, but we haven't really started getting prepared for that yet. Yeah. And the next book club of Blood will be the Skins of the Fathers. Yeah,
I love that. It's a very underrated story.
Yeah, it's kind of a proto Nightbreed story.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well said. These weird creatures in the desert, just going on a procession.
Yeah, and the main one of the main characters is named Aaron.
And of course, there's always a connection between certain things that you see in Clive Barker work and his movies. And one of the things that I want to make the connection between the Skins of the Fathers and Lord of Illusions is that in Skins of the Fathers, there's a scene where people get sucked into like the desert sand.
Oh,
right?
yeah, right.
And there's a scene exactly just like that. And
that's right.
Witness the return of Nyx, and he creates this kind of storm that sucks them down and through the desert floor. Yeah. And I was like, that reminds me of Skins of the Fathers, and I'm sure that it was on Clive's head.
You waited like lambs. Well, I am not your shepherd.
I love that.
My God. Yeah. Hearing that in the booming, like, surround sound and seeing it so clearly. And just Nyx's quotes are so amazing.
I know.
I mean, his quotes are as good as Hellraiser quotes, as good as Pinhead quotes.
I love that one that's like, what are you? It's like, a man who wanted to be a god and changed his mind. And I'm like, oh, my God.
I'm going to be rotten shit from now on.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry. You know, if you look into the story of Daniel von Vargen and know his death and stuff, it was a little sad that he was a little lonely there for a while, and but it didn't come to a good ending. But
it was great casting. He was so believable as a cult leader, right? And so he looked like this disheveled, like crazy guy, but inside he had something. He had a connection to magic.
He's like a Manson kind of figure, right? He's kind of like disheveled, like you said, dirty, greasy dude in the abandoned ranch in the middle of the desert, just like a Manson guy, you know?
Yeah.
And the cultists, I love the way that they go out into the world after he gets, buried. But then they've always had faith in the return of the Puritan. And they were willing to give up their entire lives just like that, just to get back, return to Nyx. So that's really fantastic.
And then he just threw them in the garbage.
Yeah.
You're not none of you is worthy. Only Swan was ever worthy.
Well, this Nyx is very different from the Nyx of the Last Illusion, right? This is more like a Mammalian from Damnation Game.
Well, I don't think there was a Nyx in the Last Illusion.
Right, there was a Butterfield. You're right.
Yeah. Butterfield was a lawyer from hell, and Valentin was like a familiar. He was a demon in human shape. He was Swan's familiar.
That's right. And in this one, he's just some guy.
Yeah. So this is I think Lord of Illusions, at first I was like, what is going on? Why is this so different from the Last Illusion when I saw it in the theater? But it's really kind of a mix of Last Illusion and Damnation Game. And then Clive's idea about how scary cults are, like after Waco and
in 1993. So it was before the movie. That's right.
Yeah,
you're correct. Nyx is definitely kind of a mixture.
Nyx means like zero or nothing, right? And that's kind of what he portrayed, is this fear of the afterlife being nothingness. He says, like, the grave is lonely, living is worse.
Yeah.
And it's like this idea, and Mammalian had this too, this fear of death that, just no matter how faithful you are, how much you believe in an afterlife and stuff, there's always probably this underpinning fear that when you die, there's just nothing, and you're just a corpse in a grave.
Yeah. So you want to go there with a disciple or a friend or a partner.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's just like Mammalian says he wants Whitehead to go with him into the dark, to that dark dimensional space where there's just like this big tree of, dropping like white flowers or whatever.
Yeah.
In this movie, Nyx wants Swan to go with him into the dark, to hell. That's what, what it kind of shows, the big hole that goes.
But he says, he still has this idea of this perfect, killing of everything. I'll kill you when this is over. I have to.
Yeah.
But until then, it'll be the guy, you and me.
He was going to murder the world, and then it would just be you and me in the dark. And it's like, okay, that seems a little boring.
Yeah, I know. Well, and originally it was his cultists, right? Together they were going to cleanse the world.
Right.
Which I think it's open to interpretation. They don't necessarily know it means to murder the world.
Right. And the word Nyx, and how you mentioned that means nothing. Yeah, it's basically just he's like a He's like bringing the world into the void. He's not here to deliver anything. He's here to deliver us to the grave.
Yeah, well, and the fact that he wanted to be a god and he changed his mind, and like, how terrible is the world of the afterlife if, he would rather just be garbage, than being a god.
I think it comes down to, we could discuss the motivations of Nyx for an hour or so, but I do believe that his humanity is what keeps him from succeeding, right? Nyx has more power than any human should have, right? And that kind of corrupts his vision of the world and probably corrupts his mind. And so it skews his vision of the world, and he thinks that it's just not worth it, right? Yeah. And he just wants to destroy everything because it's too much trouble. Like he says, the grave is bad, but living is worse.
But he really wants to share that with Swan.
Yeah, he wants to share the nothingness. That's what he wants to share. He says, I have so much power to give you. But he also wants to destroy everything and just be in the dark with Swan, right? So what's the use of having power at that point when you're just...
Yeah, and there's one point where Swan says, why would I want that? And I was like, that's the audience too, thinking, why, what? The world isn't perfect, but geez, wipe everybody out and just be in the dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, he just represents kind of like this Grim Reaper.
Yeah.
In a white robe. I have to say, I love what Steve Johnson did for the face of Nyx.
Yeah.
The mask and stuff. It's such a beautiful design.
Yeah.
And it works so well. Like the fact that where the metal parts are, his face is like more discolored around that area.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't exposed to like the dirt and stuff. But it's a really inspiring design.
Like it was infected or it was the bone showing from underneath. I wasn't sure which, but it's really disturbing looking.
It is very disturbing looking.
Yeah.
That's Lord of Illusions, the 4K version. I got it right here. And you should get it too.
Yeah. Well, support physical media, support Clive Barker, support 4K, because 4K Blu-rays are getting tough to find. I don't want to have to just buy everything on Amazon.
Yeah. I know what you mean. It'd be nice to be able to go to a place and discover things, right?
Yeah.
Discover stuff on a shelf.
Yeah, I wanted to. I've started to notice that I'm getting behind on, like, I don't know what the heck's going on with Jurassic Park. There are so many of those movies, and I thought, why don't I just get myself a 4K box set of the Jurassic Park movies? I'll start from the beginning. I have never seen Jurassic Park 2 or 3 because, like, I heard they were bad and I never watched them. And so now there's a whole new trilogy of these, or I don't know how many, 4? I'm not sure.
Well, I think there's more than 4, right? I think the fourth one
of the new trilogy. There's like a new like Jurassic World series.
Yeah. I only saw the last one I saw was the one where the first one that had Chris Pratt and he's like a trainer of velociraptors.
I think that's the one I saw too.
And that's the last one I saw. I didn't see anything else after that.
But the point is, I couldn't, I know these exist because I've seen them on Amazon, and I went all over Anchorage, which is a big city, and I couldn't find them anywhere.
Yeah. It's hard.
Yeah. And, of course, you're not going to just go to a store and find Lord of Illusions. If you can't even find Jurassic Park box set, how are you going to find Lord of Illusions? So, I don't know. That makes me a little bit sad.
And I'm sure the supply lines to Alaska make sure that not a lot of stuff makes it to Alaska.
Right, because they don't want
not as readily available as like other big cities in the continent, the mainland. You're obviously in the mainland, but I just mean like in the contiguous U.S.
Well, my town has 90,000 people, but Anchorage has like 600,000 people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really kind of a big city for us.
Before you end this episode, I just want to ask you, how did the crowd react when in Anchorage, Gwar said, "Hello, Fairbanks"?
Yeah.
Did they laugh?
Yeah, kind of. I think they just let it go, because the one thing about Anchorage, Alaska audiences for bands is that they are so grateful that anybody came up. And you go to concerts and you'll see, there'll be some diehard fans, But there'll also be people that are there because that's the thing to do. That's the people that came,
Right.
Yeah.
And I bet people meet each other at concerts and they start recognizing other people and make friends.
Yeah. I made friends with the other 9 people that were in the VIP for Gwar. I thought that was super cool, and waiting in line with them, hanging out with them at the soundcheck concert and all that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, the trading cards for Clive Barker, I don't really have any trading cards, but I'll gladly talk about them because I know a lot about them. Yeah. I know you have all those collections.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't know where I put them right now. But
yeah, that's okay.
That's another reason we're not doing it right away. But we'll get them.
All right. Well,
I know there's Hellraiser trading cards. There's the Box of Blood, and I think there's a set that's just called Clive Barker. And this podcast, having no beginning, will have no end. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you have subscribed or followed our podcast. You can find the Clive Barker Podcast wherever you find audio. Show notes for this episode, as well as news and reviews, can be found at our website at www.clivebarkercast.com. The Clive Barker Podcast, or BarkerCast, is an independent editorial podcast and blog that's not affiliated with Clive Barker or Seraphim Inc. This is a labor of love by the fans for the fans. You can chat with us on our Facebook BarkerCast listeners group, our Facebook page, Reddit, Blue Sky, or our Discord server. Have you already bought our book? The BarkerCast Interviews Occupy Midian, available in Amazon hardcover, Kindle, and Apple Books. Join our Patreon and become a patron to get access to exclusive stuff, pick an episode topic, or maybe join in the discussion. You can also buy a t-shirt in our TeePublic store. Just go to teepublic.com/stores/BarkerCast. Leave a voicemail for us on the SpeakPipe link on our blog, and we might put it in the episode. Opening and ending music generously provided by Ray Norrish.
Thanks for listening.